fellas. Well, let's talk about the footy. Let's go straight to Hayden Valentine, because last weekend he created a lot of news. He's a bit of a pest. Is there a bigger serial pest in the game than Hayden Valentine at the moment?
Reminds me of Jono when he was playing there, Grant. But geez, he could play, can't he? Because he's able to back it up, I suppose. And, you know, it's great to see him be able to do what he does on the field, but also back it up with his footy as well. And I reckon he's a bit of an X factor last week, Jono.
He certainly was. And there's a lot of guys that can niggle and do all that sort of stuff, but can't really play. And he can play footy. He's been fantastic.
On a serious note, I mean, he's been around. He's a leader there. Is that what you want to see from your leadership group, like blokes like him do that, Jono?
Oh, well, they've been, obviously they were under the pump a little bit and they had to take some action, and I think that was one of the actions they had to take. Probably wasn't meant to be that physical in terms of hitting him in the chin. It was probably a hit on the chest and it's just raised a little bit. And look, he's going to suffer the consequences. And Matty Scarlett's record at the moment, being missing early games early in the year, is pretty high. He's probably been, out of these 7 seasons that he's played, he's probably missed quite a few in the start of the season.
Don't take anything away from the Dockers, because the Dockers, they beat them at their own game.
I want to ask Ronnie, if that happened to you, would you get back up?
What?
If you got hit by Scarlett? Or would you stay there?
Well, it's hard for you to get back up because he's only played 12 games.
And of course, Jono, the big question is Jason Misford capable of continuing in his role at the AFL given the current circumstances?
Yeah, I think he is. I think Jason, over the 4 years he's been there, has done a tremendous amount of work in the Indigenous space as well as the multicultural space. He's been very responsible for the Rio Tinto Footy Means business, and he's shown some great leadership around our international program in the Flying Boomerangs. So I think he's got still a lot of work to be done within the AFL in both those areas, multicultural and Indigenous.
Chris, there's been some discussion about Jason, that he's probably lost the trust of some of the AFL players, that they can't talk to him. Do you think that's the case or not?
No, certainly not the case, Grant. Myself and Xavier Clark have been on the phone talking to past and current players. I've been talking to Adam Goods, Hardbrow, Matty Stokes, and a lot of past players. You know, we've got a couple of past players on the panel here that really feel strongly towards Jace, trust him, and know that his leadership will prevail, and he's got all their backing, and there's been a tremendous amount of support from a lot of Indigenous players throughout the competition, giving text messages, phone calls to Jason to give him their support.
CJ, an article has been written, Andrew McLeod has been raising concern about Jason Misford's performance. Your thoughts on that? Yeah,
well, I beg to differ on that one. That's not true at all. Andy and myself had at least a half an hour conversation today on the phone and spoke about a number of things, and one of the things was the article today, and Andy expressed to me that he's got full faith in Jason's leadership and his ability to actually keep leading the Indigenous players through the next phase of AFL football. So to hear that about Andy, and Andy's a strong advocate for Jason as well. So I find that hard to believe.
I'll throw this one out because you obviously love the man. Throw this out to Gilly or Thorpe. I mean, what do you think Jason Misford should do? I mean, he's put in his notice that he wants to. He was going to quit. Do you think he should stand down? Or?
Well, Ronnie, I'll say that. I'll tell you now. I think he's got a lot of integrity. No, he asked me as well. The fact is, he come clean. He admitted he'd done the wrong thing. That says a lot about him. But also, the other thing with Jace, he actually offered his resignation. They didn't accept it. So where do you want to take it?
Where do I want to take it? Well, it's up to Jason to go away and think about what if he's capable of taking. Well, you're asking me the question. Let me answer.
You asked me the question.
Well, you're throwing it back at me. Okay, he needs to go away and have a think about on himself with his family, and if he's capable of doing the role. If there's too much pressure, then throw on the job.
The thing I don't like about it is there's an assertion and an assumption that Jason's been running to the media with these stories. That's not the case at all. The first time he got interviewed by Michael Gleeson in The Age was all about the Jarrah incident that happened, and there was conversation that led on. It was quite a lengthy conversation, and that was some of the stuff that he brought up about the Melbourne players, the stuff that he'd heard. Now, we all hear thousands of stories in AFL football, plenty of rumours. Some are true, some aren't. Now, in my opinion, Grant Thomas, average player, average coach, average journalist, right?
That's your opinion.
What he should have done, it's my opinion, but what he should have done, he's got an important and personal friendship with Jason.
He should have rang up. He's got to cut ties.
Rang a few people, Gilly.
He's got to cut ties with...
Calm down.
He's got to cut ties with Grant Thomas.
Well, he should have rang up a few people. What good journalists do is they ring up a few people to find out whether the source of the information was correct, and obviously Grant didn't do that. And just being a personal friend, he shouldn't have went out and wrote stuff in the paper anyway. Ronnie, if I had to write stuff that you told me, I'd be writing a book.
There's got to be...
I tell you blokes everything and you go and tell everybody.
No. I think there's something that we haven't mentioned. We haven't mentioned the word here, and that word is confidentiality. And I reckon it hasn't been used in this situation.
It must have been an incredible time for yourself. The preparation, how'd you go with getting the intensity back in and the hunger back in the group over the pre-season?
Yeah, I think we came back and we were up and about, I reckon. We were really excited to get back into it. We went to Falls Creek and we rode up Mount Buffalo, which is probably the hardest thing any of us will ever do again. So after that, we knew it was going to be a really tough pre-season, and we all got through it really well, and I think we're fit and ready for a good crack at it again.
Going into play Hawthorn this week, what's some of the areas perhaps from last week that you probably need to improve in?
We've got a few. Probably we don't want teams kicking 104, 105 points against us every week. I don't think we're that sort of side who wants to go up and down the ground. So we've got a bit of defensive work to do, but I don't know, we just got a few structured things, little things to tweak, but I think we're in a good spot and yeah, we're in a good place.
Al, last year you were used as a sub on a number of occasions. Were you ever disappointed on the weekend when you were named a sub, and how do you feel about the role?
I can't complain. I'm in the team and someone's got to do it, and obviously the coaches see me at the moment. I can play that role really well, and if I can come on and have an impact in that role on Fresh, then someone's got to do it. So yeah, it's a good rule though. Like, I can't complain about it. Injects a bit of speed into the game when that sub comes on. So I think it's been a good rule, and it's quickened up the game.
So if Allen was playing now, he'd be wearing that every game.
Yeah.
Kevin, your time at Punt Road, who are the players that you really looked up to down there at your time at the Tigers?
Francis Burke was probably as good a player as I've seen play the game from a player's perspective. Yep. There are other, Royce Hart, super talent, hard trainer. Ian Stewart came along to our club, won his third Brownlow medal there, and played in a premiership side. But as a player, you look at those guys and think, how am I ever going to be as good as that? I can't do the things that they do. As great as Francis Burke was, he could actually teach you, and you could think, geez, you might not be as good a player as him, but I can do those things. And so he actually taught me to be a better player. Yeah, I looked at Thorpe too, and I went straight past him.
Well, here we are at the MCG for 2012, and Layla, it has been a long pre-season wait for this footy season.
You can say that again, Shelley, but you know what? Life was just not the same for me without football. I wonder how you coped.
So how did you cope without footy?
Oh, unbelievable. After last year's grand final, I said, here we go. Another 6 months without football. What are we going to do?
I've struggled, but I'm back tonight.
Sat in my room just crying, really.
It was pretty tough, but I always look forward to the fact that footy's going to be back.
Look, 6 months is a long time. Waiting that long for footy.
I've watched every footy DVD that we've ever featured in the Premiership for 30 years.
Yeah, we didn't really have much to do other than hang out.
73, 74, 80.
I hate cricket season.
I've just played them over, and at 69, I've just played them over and over again. Soccer. Yep.
What did you miss the most about football?
Dustin Martin. Yeah.
Probably the noise. Yeah. Because it's not that noisy without footy.
Really the hype that surrounds it, and getting to the MCG every week, and
just all the supporters getting together, having fun.